All right. Thank you so much, everyone, come to today's joint session of placemaking with public art working groups. So I'm Raphael, the group lead for the placemaking group, and Mohammad is the lead for the public art working group. So what we're gonna do today, we're gonna explore how public art influences a place. So I prepared a short presentation for what you expect. So as you'll all be aware of, public art is an important part of place identity. So it doesn't just give a visual profile to the neighborhood, but it's also a good way to connect with the culture of the neighborhood and also engage people in the community in like building together through and connect with each other through public art. So there are some examples that I took. So this one's in Amsterdam at the Street Art Museum. So as you can see, this is the mural of Anne Frank, which you probably all know that she's Jewish girl, who lives in Amsterdam, but unfortunately perished in the Holocaust. And and then this is in Brussels, and this one somewhere near the train station, I remember. And here it is a wise choice of the art being Smurf. As you all be aware, the Smurf uh, is from Belgium, and so like Smurf being portrayed in public art here in Brussels connects like the culture with this place. And this is, if I remember correctly, in Antwerp. It's in a neighborhood called St. Andries. And if I remember correctly, this is beside a basketball court. And I don't know too much of the quick story of this artwork, but I suppose it expresses the artist's like impression of what's going on here in this neighborhood. But I don't know much and I couldn't comment too much. And this is also interesting. This is in Lausanne, Switzerland, right outside the Olympic Museum. And so the choice of art here being Allsports, which connects Lausanne to the fact that it's like what they call the capital of the Olympic movement, because the International Olympic Committee is based here. Okay, and now this is in the city where I'm based in. This is in Stockholm, Sweden, and although probably not much history from this artwork, but as you can see, this public art emphasizes the place by making it more playful. So instead of a street that's only straight lines in one direction, now you have a lot of curves, a lot of playfulness, which brightens up the place. And so you might be aware of this from the project for public spaces. You identified like four main areas for a place, and public art connects mostly, for example, covering image, obviously, but also suitability because art connects people. All right, so the main part is sharing. So I hope each of you can share a public art and also um, share where is this artwork, what is the cultural and historical context of the place and the artwork, how to connect, and what is the public space setting of this artwork, like it's on a building or on the street or a position. How do you think this artwork influences the place? Are there any activities and facilities around this artwork? And finally, you can rate this place with the PPS place framework on a scale of 1 to 5 in the four main areas, so uses and activities, covering image, access and linkages, and sociability. So, so you have, I give you 15 minutes to prepare the photos and your answers to question, and I will keep this slide on, if that's okay for you.
Okay, that's okay for me.
Okay, so that's 15 minutes, and who wants to go first?
If nobody is willing to, I can go first.
You go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Not yet. No.
No.
Still no?
Do we need to set permission? I don't know.
Hold on.
Okay, it's something.
Now it's working?
Okay. Cool. Yeah. We can see.
Okay. Okay. So this image is an art installation. It's not just painting. It's actually an art installation that's in front of a university campus in a city that's off of the island of Montreal. It's sort of like across Montreal. That, I mean, it was a small town, you know, a few hundred years ago, and it's been rapidly developing. And in the past, it's been really sprawling, sort of rather classic North American development patterns, but they're trying to like create a new town center, which will be much more dense. And here, just to give you some context of where this site is located, it's in a public place. It's next to a bus terminus, which is actually an intermodal bus terminus. So a metro station comes there. There are lots of buses there. There are bike shares there. But the larger context, it's in this big area here. As you can see, it's lots of high-rise development, which is surrounded by parking. So like originally, this was like really not in the city. This was like a completely new area, which is next to a bridge, and it's along the water. But the water, like getting over to the water, is actually really hard because there's a highway that goes there. So the access to the water is challenging. So anyway, so there's this, there's a number of different pieces of art in this area. And the goal is really there. And you can see there's cycling infrastructure there. And the city is really trying to redevelop this area and create a new, it's very close to the old downtown. And yet, because of the scale of the auto infrastructure, it's actually not very easy to walk there. Like it should be easy to walk there, but unfortunately it's not. So, but this neighborhood, they're really inside of where the buildings are, there's really not a lot of vehicle circulation. So they're really trying to redevelop it. And as you can see, they're focusing a lot on making the transition from cars to green. I don't know if you can see in the photo, but there's like grass or green pushing out from the upside down cars. So like the art is really about reversing our auto dependence and greening our environments. And this city recently elected a new young mayor. A number of the cities around Montreal, and Montreal's mayor as well, they've been electing like young people who are very, very progressive environmentally. So they're really trying very, very hard to change things and to green the environment and change our travel patterns. So that's really what this is about. Whether it works or not, or well, I mean, it's we can it's still a challenge. Like I mean, they're trying hard to change the way people use these spaces and to have them embrace them and create community, but it's still hard. So Mohammed, you had a question?
Yes, I have a question, but do you have my voice clearly?
Do I have what?
My voice.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so thanks, God. Anyway, do you have the purpose of those cards, upside down cards? I don't know. It's quite
I mean, I
nice.
think it was really just a statement, sort of to show that we need to reverse our automobile dependency and to create a greener environment. I don't know who the artist was. I just stumbled upon this by chance. I was riding my bike through the area a few weeks ago, and this is a relatively new art installation that I hadn't seen, and I'm not sure if it's permanent or not, but it was there. Like I thought it was sort of funny, and I took some photos of it, and
Uh,
that's really all I
are
know.
they real cards or
Yes,
just
I think
okay,
they are real cars, and they're not new cars. They were, I don't know, for whatever
real card?
reason something was wrong with them, so they
Cool.
turned them over and they built a garden in them.
Mm.
And the woman in the photo, she was also there. Was a few people taking photos, like sort of going around them and taking photos.
Uh-huh.
So I thought it was a, a, a fairly effective piece of art, but it's in an area which is really more for circulation in front of, like, the other side of where this is really sort of, there's a road and there's a lot of parking. So it's sort of like on the border between where the circulation space is, and it is still it's relatively comfortable walking and riding a bike in this area, but getting to the area or out of the area is quite a challenge. So, I mean, you can come by metro, or there's like a metro or bus that comes directly there. But even coming by bike, in a way, like, you have to go across some challenging situations to get there. It's not super easy.
The sarcasm here.
What's that?
Like there's, yeah, I like the sarcasm here in that there's an artwork that comments on car dependency, and yet on the other side you have a landscape that's car dependent.
Yes. So it's very much about that kind of perspective.
Right. And what about the rating?
Um, are we rating the art itself or the space in general? I mean, I think the art is quite interesting, and the space as well is quite interesting. I can't really comment on how effective it's been. This particular thing, whether it increases
right,
sociability. Can you still see the? I'm always hesitant to put a mark on things. So, but I found it was interesting. Like, it got me to take a photo, and I think it achieves. And I think actually that's what art really should be about, is to sort of stimulate people to look and think. So in that sense, I think it's been quite successful. I don't know if you can hear, there's a little one running around my office. Yeah, so I think it's been an interesting piece, and I think it does what art should do. Like, it really, it attracts people's attention and it gets them to think about things. And I definitely saw people interacting with it. So that was all good. And there are places to sit around there. Like, it wasn't trying to be a place that you can sit on and things like that. But it was definitely sort of like it was a very good location in terms of making the statement that it was making. And I thought it was very good.
Okay, before we move on to Carrie, does anyone have anything to say about SV's sample?
Yeah, I remember you had a photo of a parking lot. Am I right?
What's that?
You showed us a photo like parking lot.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's the area right around it.
Oh,
So it's in this. Hold on, let me share my screen again. Can you see my screen now?
yes.
So this is the area that the exhibition is. I think it's in front of this building here, or right. So, and this is sort of the other. It's like literally like what the sort of white and black buildings are. It's like right in front of those buildings, or maybe it's this building here. I'm not sure. It's one or the other. But it's like if you're coming and well, it's really a new area. Like this whole area is densifying very quickly, and at the moment it's completely surrounded by highways. But the city really wants to change that, and they want to really improve the access towards Montreal, in fact, and towards the old city. But this is all new developments, and it's like right now these parking lots are for people who work in Montreal. They come and they park there, and they take the metro to Montreal. So that's sort of where the current state is. And they're building lots of spaces for people to live in this area. And there's university campuses. Like it's like a Montreal university that has like an extension there. And there's actually another university from another city that has another extension there. So it's really sort of like this new activity hub that they're trying to create and redevelop, all completely new. And the ambition is that it'll become like really not car oriented. So that's really what they're trying to do. But the challenges right now are still there. You know, it doesn't happen, doesn't change overnight.
All right, so let's move on to Karen. Are you ready?
Well, I hope so. One moment, let me share my screen here. I thought this timing is good for me and for our organization, I think, in a way, because this is a proposed piece of art mural that is just came to my inbox a day or two ago. So this gives me a chance to sort of put it out to for commentary, engagement, that sort of thing. This is on a blank wall on a arena that's downtown here in Portland, Maine. That is in a street that has been closed for, I don't know, 6 months because of construction, or at least part of it's been closed. And we just put in another mural real close to this that's really large, huge. And this kind of is a space we're focusing on, an area we're focusing on, and trying to get people to be more engaged with this part of town. Sorry, you show me again the questions. I'm supposed to. I didn't. I was going to go through them. I can't recall the second one.
Wait a moment.
What's that again?
Can you see my screen now?
No, probably because I'm sharing mine. I'll stop.
Okay.
Where is this artwork? Cultural and historical context. Okay, thank you. So, like I said, it's smack in the middle of our downtown, and it's meant to represent a lot of different. And I can reshare that image in a moment. Meant to represent a lot of the different industries and neighborhoods of the community. Tell me again the third question, and I'll go through it.
All right, the third question is, what's the public space setting of this artwork? How does the artwork influence this place? Are there any activities and facilities around this artwork?
Yeah, it's an arena, and there's a lot of local hockey, minor league hockey, concerts, graduations, all that sort of stuff. So it is a space, but it's dead when there's not an event, essentially. So that's but there's some great restaurants and other things, retail nearby. So it's just trying to draw more folks into that. And finally, the fourth question again.
The fourth question, rate place with the PPS place framework on
Oh,
scale
right,
of 1
right,
to
right.
5.
Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, throw those in the chat. That would be good for me. I tried to, it wouldn't let me copy and paste them or anything. I tried to do a screen grab, and that didn't work either. So I've got those PPS questions. Hold on, I had that screenshot up in front of me. Maybe I kicked it out here. Just a second. I don't know. Maybe I accidentally closed that tab. Saw it there. There we go. I think it's most about the comfort in image areas where we're trying to do clean, safe, that sort of thing, which is right in line with attractive, hopefully somewhat historic, and that sort of part of the pie chart. So that's our just received piece of proposed public art, and I'd certainly welcome, and I'll reshare my screen again here. Certainly welcome comments, feedback, that sort of thing.
To be honest, I'm a little confused about the picture. I can't understand the dimensions. I don't know why.
Yes, I agree. It's also a little bit confusing to see.
Yeah.
Like there's a wall and it's a public, but there's the wall like sort of coming towards us. And I can't tell if there's someone like a restaurant space below that. Or
yeah, so this hopefully you can see my cursor is a blank wall currently, and this is just some images. The sort of their local folks that are on that he's indicating he might like to portray. This is just part of the entrance into the arena on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, past the lady in the bright color jacket, is just the sidewalk.
and are these people part of the artwork, or are they part of what the activity that you're hoping to see in this location?
They are part of the artwork. They are community members. The lady on the far right side in the bright colored jacket is a lobster woman. She's like 98 years old.
Okay.
A local chef, local barista, local, I think she's a dancer or a Zumba teacher or something like that. And this is a map of the area and the neighborhoods. And this is a local brewery. The beer scene here is pretty tremendous.
It's so clean that I don't know. It's really clean.
Well, I think that this is just like a virtual representation of what it could look like. That's the idea that we're looking at right now.
Yeah, this is a draft one,
Yeah.
so I thought the timing of this was pretty good to, there's plenty of time changes.
So I think Mohammad, the final result would look different. Like, I don't think they would have pictures of people. Like they would be painted into the image or something like that.
I think representative. Yeah.
I'm sure that if I was cycling down the street and somewhere, I would definitely eat the water.
But Carrie, do you have an image of the sort of the larger context? Like I see this, there's like a wider space there that looks like there's a curb extension, and you said this is across from the arena, which is downtown.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull one up. Yeah, one moment. Just a second here.
No worries. We can wait. I can wait.
Well, this is going to maybe be the best I can do. But that's the area. I don't have a street view right now in front of me. But this is where it says Brown Street right here. Basically, this whole half of the block is a new mural. This is the arena where it would be in one of these little sort of divots here. Yeah, a little bit of context.
Okay, so there's a lot of, I see a good amount of parking around nearby. And okay, maybe I'm not looking at the same area. I'm looking at also Google Maps of Portland, Maine. I see a park, Deering Oaks Park site. Is that nearby?
Oh,
or
that's quite a bit away. Far. That's
okay.
fairly far away.
And I see. Are you anywhere near the water in this neighborhood?
Not too much, not terribly far, but probably 6 blocks.
Okay. All right. Oh, is this the Cross Insurance Arena? Is that what we're looking at?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I see where it is now. Oh, it's near the wharf. Sorry. Okay. Oh my God! Wow, there's a lot of parking in that area.
Yeah, there's some parking.
Is that parking mostly for the arena? Like when there's activities, it's all full, and the rest of the time it's empty.
It is currently just a surface parking lot that can be used for that, but it's local workers park there. My guess is that surface parking lot, give it 5 or 7 years and it will get replaced by construction. But for now, it'll be there for the short to medium term.
Okay, I'm looking at the general area around there, like between there and the port, and I see a lot of other surface parking lots as well.
Yeah, we've got there's too many, absolutely.
And like that area in particular seems to really be like full of parking, which is unfortunate. Is there any? Are you trying to use this art to sort of like reinforce I don't know, the connectivity and sense of ownership of that space?
Yeah, I think that's fair. It's really, and that as well as activate that area to give people, because there is like this place Leeward here you see at the sort of right across from Cross Arena, just as one example. That's a James Beard nominee restaurant, so it's definitely a destination, and there's some other spots. So we're really trying to activate this part. It's because it's kind of a dead zone a little bit, with the exception of when there's an event or if you have a a reservation at one of these nice restaurants, that sort of thing. So just trying to do some things to bring folks out there. We've got some other ideas for like an event there, close down the street because it's pretty inactive. So it's a good place for that kind of activation, this sort of thing. So it's, piece by piece, puzzle by puzzle, segment by segment.
Right. And are there people who actually live anywhere in that area? Or is it really
a little bit, not
sort of between the
ton.
downtown and the old port?
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I've never been to Portland, Maine, but well, now I see the highway sort of
invited. I'm happy to give you a tour.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. And
well, great. This is helpful. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is the port still active? Like, is it a
very much
functional port?
Very much so.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
We still have some time left, and does anyone want to share any other examples that they've seen, like elsewhere?
Mohammad, did you have anything you want to share with your city?
Yes, but it's under massive protest. So if you hold it phone and take pictures, so you have to be very careful because the region forces will come and get your phone. So some famous photos, hopefully, across the country, not particularly from my city. I don't know why, because maybe people are not in favor of the art. It's so bad. So yeah, my screen. Okay, anyone can see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Cool. Okay, so which one? Okay, this one is from a coastal city in south of Iran called named Bandar Abbas. And this one in the bottom of the screen and the right side is obviously from coastal area, and people, I don't know what to say about that, but it's kind of eye-catching for me that you can find something very weird and it sounds something like that. Or you can see that people are, there's some folks are not artists. I'm pretty sure about that. Maybe they're um in their first ages of their being an artist. So they go and draw something like the first picture here, like it demands said, um, someone's hair as a treat or other things like that. But there are other things like this one in Tehran, okay, which is quite nice because you see that Tehran, if you've been Tehran, I mean, I hope you will definitely be. Tehran is really polluted. The colors in the streets are really rare. And this kind of art can demonstrate something that the city is still living, the color gives the meaning of a living city. So I can say that they promote walkability, but at least it will affect people's mindset towards a particular neighborhood in the city. And the next one is also from Tehran. I don't know the date of the picture, and it's about the clocks. They're fake clocks, obviously, and they illustrate, different clocks and hours and other things. And these ones also about Tehran. It has a deep, about the culture and the history of Iran. These pictures demonstrate kind of bazaar. If you search for bazaar, you see that there's kind of stores which are covered, that sun would not affect people during the summer or hot days. And so on. So this one is related to history and yeah, other thing. I think that public installation and art should demonstrate or they have roots in history and the culture of a country. I mean, you cannot go into old fabric of a town and, for example, in the sort modern art there, it's kind of contrast, which might not be really good. I mean, you have to try it. I didn't try it, but I think in my point of view, it's not kind of good. And also, this one is not from Iran. I don't know where is it. I found it in net. Most on the
That's
bridge
from my,
is,
is that my picture? That's from Montreal. That's very near me.
yeah, I found it from Flickr, so hopefully I found it. I had it in my desktop. I don't know where was it, but it was really great because what we see in Iran is exactly like that. Most of the other bridges painted or some poems, political, social political poems were written on the bridge. And you can find the true culture and the sociality here in other bridges, not this picture. Okay. I was afraid to take pictures because they were so empty. And yeah, so I'm really afraid to take picture. I don't know why, because maybe but I was alone. So Rafa, I can't recall the questions. In my point of view, I like this picture really, really a lot because the history of the art. Raphael, Mood, can you ask the questions? So, I think
Yeah,
the
sorry
person
about that. I should
here.
have had personal questions earlier.
What is this artwork? Okay, where is this artwork? Okay, and okay, so I said it's by historical context. Yeah, mainly. Is it like that? That the art that you see in your city is rooted in the history of your town? It's a question from correspondent, yeah. Great. Okay, well, I can rate this question, but these pictures, but I can I can rate this one in the bottom of the screen, the right side. It was really eye-catching for me when I was doing my one of my student projects was in Bandar, the southern city in Europe, and it was really eye-catching for me. I can rate that. It didn't permit the walkability, but it was a good, it was a good piece of art that people were looking for it. People were coming here to see how it look like. When you when it's night, the level of the weather comes up and the person seems that it's gonna drowning, something like that. And during the day, it's not like that. It was nice. I can rate this one. Uh, I don't know, maybe it's not a good. I don't have a mark for that. So yeah. And about the on the bridge pictures, uh, I tried to take some pictures, document them. They were really nice. Yeah, I'm done.
Right, thank you, Mohammad. I might have one project to share with you. It's called uh, Wall Street, Stockholm, and it's a very brilliant project. Like they have like kind of artwork all around Stockholm at different times over the summer. So I have to find that first. Right. Okay. So can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yes. So this is basically this is basically a street art festival that's all throughout Stockholm. So I can't exactly recall the exact positions, but these are some examples. So for example, this and a pop cart. And then we have this one. I'm not sure where this is, but I suppose it's somewhere downtown. And they have some in indoor space as well. Here's another one. And besides this one, they're not just limited to wall art. They also have a few installations as well. So so here's one of those that are in the form of sculptures, but are also in this festival. And as you can see here, it's beside water, so Stockholm is like a city on water. It's like everywhere you go, there's the sea, and here I like how the artwork complements the form. Okay, and I'll try to answer the question as well. Okay, so where is this artwork? So the artworks are all over town, and it's like beside the water, and some of them, like most of them, are on building walls around downtown. And what is the culture and historical context of the place? And the artwork is really, it's really reminiscent. I didn't dig too deep into it, but vibes say like Stockholm is very cosmopolitan, versus city, and I suppose like there are a lot of in this artwork. What is the public space setting and how does the artwork place? Well, I would say um like a lot of those are full height art murals. So it's like from far it's really like it really adorns the streets and gives it character. And are there any activities and facilities around this artwork? Really a lot. Like Stockholm streets are really awesome in that there are a lot of activities going on. So uh, like street food stalls, and also like a lot of people use these parks for all sorts of activities. Mohammad, you have a question?
Yes, just a moment. Okay, so what was the question? Okay, I remember. Okay, on the bridges, I was doing a project when I was doing a bachelor degree about that on the bridges as a place. You know, it's more likely a placemaking project. Have you ever seen anything like public art in those areas under the bridges?
Under the bridges.
Yes, like the picture that she had it and I show it.
Mohammed, I've been to Stockholm a few times, and one of the things I found really fascinating about the city is it has many different levels of sort of activities. So I suspect that there really are, like I remember like walking across sort of a highway to get off of the island, and then below there's like another highway with like a community center. And then below that, there's like on the water, there were like houses that were actually like floating or something. And it like this, it's interesting to see that the city has many different levels that cross and sometimes interact, sometimes they don't. And I was there in the winter and I wasn't really exploring the art per se, but I really noticed the different levels that were very present in the city, more than I've seen in other places. But there are many bridges because it's like a sort of series of islands. So there are lots of bridges in the area. And I mean, Raphael, obviously, you know much better than I do what goes on under those bridges, but it seemed like there was a lot of potential for that kind of art in the area.
Right. Yes. Speaking of which, in Stockholm we have a kind of place that's very at the very center of each community and where there are a lot of additions, right? Which is the underpass. So, like in Stockholm, like not really all of them, but I think more than half of them has artwork in underpasses. So here's the example in a suburb called Upplandsbro. There, and a lot of them are created created by the local kids. Like usually the municipality owns space and they engage with the schools to paint paint these tunnels. And a lot of the tunnels are also like at the train station. So basically, when you exit the train station, what you see first in that community is the mural. and that's like salt community.
So speaking of underpass, Iran had been involved with Iraq, and we had lots of underpasses shelters for bombs. And they are now closed, most of them, but there is an underpass still exists, still working, and you can, there are not arts, there are lots of supermarkets in that underpass. And yeah, usually uh, people who are living in that neighborhoods near the underpass go to buy, for example, buy what they need as a daily needs for themselves. But you know, I see under bridges, elevated bridges and these underpass are a good place for art and even for place making projects. I'm interested in observing more of them.
All right. Yeah, thanks, V, for the links. Yeah, before we close, do you have anything else to say or share?
And if people are interested, I can share another place in Montreal that I was also thinking about. If you're interested, it's public art. There was a highway or an elevated highway that was removed, and the city invested.
Welcome to share.
Okay, I will share my screen. Okay, you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. So this is hold on. I have a photo of the area. So this is the general area that I'm talking about. It's an area, it used to be an elevated highway next to an elevated train track. If you can see sort of this area in the middle, this was a highway that sort of went into the heart of the downtown core. Well, it went into the train station actually. And it was an elevated highway that was falling apart. And as you can see, there's lots of redevelopment in the area, and there's some old industrial down here. So they removed the highway and they turned it into a green space, but yet they still maintained a lot of auto access. And actually the buses, this is for buses only, they go underground there. So they built this sort of big green space, but it's still sort of in the middle of the highway, and they invested a lot of effort in public art in this space. So they built, this is a work of art by a friend of mine, actually. This was donated by a Spanish artist. So here, this is like I don't remember the name of the artist, but it's basically a person thinking, sort of contemplating the area that is around them, which is interesting. But as you can see, there's actually still a lot of traffic in this area. And there's also been a lot of redevelopment along the corridor. So in a lot of ways, the art is very interesting. But here you can see a better view, and there's been some greening, and there are benches and things, and there's been a lot of efforts. Am I still sharing my screen?
No.
Is my screen still sharing or no?
No.
Yes?
No.
Okay, hold on. Okay. Can you see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So this is could you see it before? I think I clicked something to stop the share. So this is the area where they've made this new park that has public art at both ends of it. Here's another view. Sometimes they have food trucks that they sort of are like temporary restaurants. So there's a lot of effort to try to animate this space. They used art to try and make it look nicer. They widened the sidewalks quite a bit in an effort to make it more comfortable. But the reality is there's still a huge amount of traffic circulation in the area. And it's actually a really unpleasant place to be a pedestrian or to just relax. It's like an actually very unrelaxing space. So this is another view of the work that my friend did. It's these sort of stairways that lead to nowhere. So that was sort of his metaphor, like the stairway to nowhere. Like, yes, it was an effort to sort of lift us up and enlighten us, but in fact, when they didn't push the thinking far enough, and it hasn't really been a huge success. So, like, I mean, this is the context. Like, yes, it's a beautiful public space, but it's surrounded by vehicle traffic, and it's actually really hard to get to. And during the rush hour periods, they give priority to the bus circulation, and well, mostly to the bus circulation. So as a pedestrian, you can see the crossings are really big, and you can actually like wait 5 minutes to cross the street. So, and every single street is sort of blocking the public or crossing the public space. So it's really not, as a public space, it doesn't really work very well. The art is interesting. I mean, this is like a world famous artist who produced this thing, and my friend does also really, really interesting artwork. But the artwork in and of itself is not enough to transform the space, I would say. So, like, I mean, you might be familiar with the term greenwashing, like using, green values to like say that we're doing something when, yeah, you planted some gardens or something, but it didn't really change the overall thing. So it's a similar context here. It's like to some degree art washing. Like, I mean, the effort was like there was a desire to create a new, and this park is actually called the Bonaventure Gateway to Montreal, but the gateway is still sort of perceived as, this is what vehicles see when they come into the city. It's not, it really doesn't serve a very pleasant human scale environment. And the train tracks as well, there are not a lot of ways to cross them. So there's been a lot of developments just next to this area, but getting there, like this, it's the area itself. I think it's unfortunate that they yes, they took down the highway, but they still maintained the vehicle capacity, and so they just put it at surface level. So I think this is and it won a lot of awards actually, this park as well, and the artwork that was there, but it hasn't yet had the desired effect. I mean, perhaps there will be adjustments in the future, but that's where we're at right now. So did anyone have any questions about this?
I may ask a question.
Of course.
Okay. Do you have a picture of the area which are not crowded by cars or people are using those stairs or going over?
Like just the space itself?
Yeah, and people use it. Okay, right during the night, the day, doesn't matter.
Well, there usually are not a lot of people there.
Okay.
Yeah. Just because it's not such a pleasant environment. So here's an example. I think this is during the opening, where you can sort of see the two highways on both sides. And there are people taking photos of this. And there's actually like exercise facilities. There's even like things for children, like a little PlayStation for children and things. But like there's very heavy vehicle traffic on both sides. So it's really not. Am I still sharing my screen or no?
Yes, stop sharing.
I stopped sharing? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
I think I click can you see the photo here?
Yes, it's a very cool one.
So this one you see, here's the artwork, here's the sort of, and this is the green space that has been redeveloped. There used to be a highway, but on both sides, there's a lot of traffic. Like you see, these are very big roads, and the buses, they go underneath here, and they go underneath on this side. This is like a special bus access lane. And over here, there's a rail corridor where the trains are still above. And but it's like a big barrier, actually. There's not a lot of ways to cross the rail corridor. So It's not a super pleasant place to be a pedestrian, even though it looks very nice.
Yeah, it seems although it might have so many noise pollution, I mean too many noise pollution, but I think I like the environment. Yeah, I don't
And
know
and
why.
there's some old buildings here that and there's a
Yeah,
lot of development going on, and these old buildings are being incorporated into new modern buildings that are much, much bigger.
I think it's a nice contrast, old building and the modern development.
Yes, and there's definitely a lot of pluses for the area. I mean, but and the effort was certainly there. I mean, it was a very big project. Like the city invested probably $100 million or something in this park, or well, in the project, like taking down the highway and rebuilding this park. So there's yeah, and but I still find it unfortunate that we still sort of maintained the vehicle capacity that was there before. That was like one of the factors. Like they really could not imagine what the space would be like if they lowered the vehicle capacity. Or what I think would have been better is to concentrate all the vehicles on one side or the other, like not have on both sides of the space. So have like all the traffic maybe on this side and have the park along the where this rail corridor is. So that sort of creates like you're away from the traffic. Like yes, there is traffic, but it's not on all sides of you. So, but they, I don't know, for technical reasons or whatever, they did not do that.
Okay. Anyone like, is it common for people to stand on the top and take photos or do something weird?
To stand on the top and take photos, yes, for sure. I've had a few friends have suggested, just going up there to like to have some beer or something to drink up there. It's not a super pleasant place to talk, just because there's so much traffic around. So it's not a relaxing place. Like this is coming back to sort of the ambient noise levels, which is unfortunate. Like if there was less traffic, maybe late at night when there's not as much traffic, but it's sort of in a weird area. Like there's not a lot of through traffic. Like it's not in a very commercial area. It's still sort of like an area that doesn't have a lot of, like they're trying to bring life to that area, but it's not clear how well they have succeeded. So, I think it will probably change. This building to the left in my photo, they're building like maybe a 50-story condo tower like on top of this now. So like, there's going to be a lot more people who are living very close to this area. So maybe as the population around it goes up, it will change the way the space is being used. I mean, I know from my experience right now, in the evening, like it's really not a pleasant space to go through to walk, because it's actually, you're waiting like to cross the streets during the peak periods. It's like crazy how long you have to wait as a pedestrian, which is like really a problem. Like, so I try to avoid that space because it's just not practical to sort of go through there on the way to somewhere else. But maybe as more people live there, they'll start changing the priority of how much traffic time is given to pedestrians versus other people. So,
is it in Montreal? Okay.
What was that?
I asked, is it in Montreal, and Raphael is asking another question.
This is in Montreal, yes.
Okay.
All right. So thank you so much for all the sharing. It's very insightful, and it's really cool to see all of your artwork. And I have to close this meeting now. So thanks so much for coming, and keep updated on our next session. Not started yet, but all right.
Thank you very much. It was very interesting to see everyone's work. I really liked what I saw on your end, Mohammad. That was really beautiful stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, I really like your work. I mean, the bridge. I really like it. And sorry if I use it, it was on purpose to use another
Sure.
one's photo. Yeah. So if I
So that
like that, that's why I downloaded.
no, I have no problem. If you like, usually if it's my work, if it's convenient to use my name, just like Tzvi Levy took this photo, that would be nice. But the idea though is really to share the images for me. Like it's really it's not like that's what's important. So if you see something you like, I can even give you permission to charge the original image.
Thank you.
So,
Yeah.
So just ask me and let me know what you want, and I'll make sure you can get it.
I'll be definitely add the source. No worries. I'm really sick about that.
Okay.
Okay,
Thanks,
so
everyone. Thanks, Raphael.
yes. Okay, thank you everyone. Have
Okay. Enjoy your
a nice day. Yes.
Thank you.
Enjoy.